Welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guests on this next interview. A heated debate has erupted over reports claiming up to 360,000 Russian troops could be stationed in Belarus, raising alarm in some Western security circles about potential threats to NATO's eastern flank and regional stability. However, Lithuanian military intelligence has publicly dismissed these figures as inaccurate, calling the claims sensational rather than reflective of the real situation. Joining us today on TVP World to unpack what's fact, what's fiction, and what it means for Europe's defense is retired Colonel Vaidotas Malinionis, founder and managing director of the National Defense Foundation. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Good evening.
So let's just open with the obvious. Can you help us understand how credible are these claims of 360,000 Russian troops that's being based in Belarus?
This is obviously some kind of mistake, or maybe call it fake news, because to move such a big contingent requires a lot of effort, and definitely NATO intelligence services would see that movement from very long time ago. Just to remind you that in 2021, yes, before Russia was preparing for the invasion, for the full-scale invasion to Ukraine, they gathered to approximately 200,000, yes, and that movement of troops was visible maybe 5-6 months before, and all NATO intelligence services were warning Ukraine that Russia is planning to attack and so on. So the same, I think, it's not possible to secretly move 350,000 troops, or in such a short time. So that's the reason this information, which started circulated from Germany, of course, is not real, and our intelligence service and also Chief of Defense immediately said that this is not true. What we know right now that in Belarus there are approximately 2,000 size contingent of Russian troops, which mostly are related to logistical activities and other support. So, but not fighting units in Belarus. So even moving 10,000 troops is also visible. So it's really not possible to cover such a huge movement of troops.
All right, like you mentioned, this movement of troops in such large numbers should set up some radar instead of just being passed around like rumors. But what do you think might motivate such a figure to be circulated by foreign commentators? Is it just for sensationalism? Is it just irresponsible reporting? Or are there the possibility of some information warfare going on?
It's hard for me to comment why this happened, but I know that this message appeared from German politician Roderich Kiesewetter, yes, and he is a retired German officer, and I have no doubt that he's professional. And my point of view, maybe journalist who was interviewing him misunderstood the message, or maybe he wanted to say something in different way and because mentioned politician, he already denied that, and he said that that message which came from him is not correct, and so he actually said that it was kind of mistake. But as I mentioned, it's I also was very surprised when I heard that message, because to move such a big contingent and we don't know about that, it's all impossible in those days. Keeping in mind our intelligent community and our intelligent capabilities, so each movement is very visible. Even 1,000 troops is already well seen when they are coming or moving somewhere.
All right. So that's actually shift away from these more sensational numbers to actually looking at the reality of Russian troop deployment along NATO's eastern border. How would you describe the actual situation along the front?
Well, what we know so far, of course, Russia is struggling, to maintain a needed level of troops in Donbas region in order to keep fighting in Ukraine, and that's, of course, is a big headache for them. They are stretching all their capabilities, and they are very busy in Ukraine. So, in reality, I don't think right now they have capacity to deploy somewhere else a big contingent. But what we know, for example, along the border with Finland and in Leningrad district and also in other locations, they are building some kind of facilities, yes, to deploy troops. So it shows those activities demonstrate that they are readying, for the future, maybe for the future conflict with NATO countries. But so far, I don't think they have capacity without proper break without proper reorganization to immediately deploy big contingent along NATO borders. Definitely, we can organize with smaller troops or like a hybrid attacks. What we are doing exactly right on the NATO countries, including balloons which are flying to Lithuania, or drone attacks, or disinformation attacks, or even cable cutting operations, and so that they can do right now. But so far they are fighting in Ukraine. I don't think they are capable to gather a big contingent and to open another frontier of the battle. So I don't think it's now feasible. But in the future, it is possible. Yes.
Right, like I mentioned, the Russian army does seem to be very spread thin right now just to fight there and continue their war in Ukraine. However, we have seen various European politicians coming out and saying that, Russia's ambition, if left unchecked, might spread to Europe as well. And with these kind of warnings, do you think that it's more of a message for deterrence, kind of building up the strength of military to have it so they don't have to use it? Or do you see any potential dangers on the horizon?
Well, of course, we can organize some hybrid attacks. They can probably utilize their agents and I think they have some agents, some people who support them in our NATO countries, and of course we can organize something. But at the local levels, I'm not talking, but at the local level, probably they can do something. But as far as they are involved in the battlefield in Ukraine, that I just remind you that it's more than 1,000 kilometers frontier, yes, and it takes a lot of effort, a lot of logistics, and a lot of troops to maintain the tempo in the battlefield. So right now, I don't see in the nearest future that they are capable to organize something substantial against NATO, but they can organize some small activities, and we must be very cautious and also prepare for the future. So in order to avoid the war, we have to prepare for war.
All right. And last but not least, most recently, the Minister of Defense of Russia has also came out and made some statement about basically blaming NATO, Ukraine for prolonging the war. Do you think that this is a negotiation tactic going into the ongoing peace negotiation, or is this some escalatory language? How should Europe interpret it?
I think Europe must interpret this that Russia is not capable to exist without a war, because Putin he has no chance, even if he wanted, he cannot stop it, because it's like a bicycle. If it stops, the bicycle falls down. So war is movements for Putin's regime. So, and I don't think the negotiations are serious. They are just prolonging the time, and in reality, they just cannot stop the war. And war is a method of the survival for the regime, because all country is mobilized for war, all economy is mobilized for war, and they just cannot get to the same status what they were before.
All right. Thank you so much for helping us unpack and clarify the actual situation. Really appreciate it, sir, and thank you for being with us on TVP World.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning into this edition of World Talks. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.